Equality before law. In early times, the laws were different in India from place to place and ruler to ruler. Judgments were based on caste. The British formed the committee under the leadership of Lord Macaulay to set up code of law in a systematic way. Therefore, Indian Penal Code was introduced and implemented by the British in India. But for the Europeans, there were different laws and codes. Economic policies of the British. Since ancient times, many outsiders invaded India. They settled in India and started implementing their own policies, but they never changed the basic economic policies. Due to Industrial Revolution, capitalist economy existed in England. Hence, they implemented the same economic policy in India, due to which they gained economic benefits, but Indians had to face economic crisis. Land revenue policy. In pre-British rule, the economic system of villages was self-sufficient. The needs of people were fulfilled through agriculture and other related services. The main source of income was land revenue. The tax was based on the crop cultivated in the farm. The tax was paid in the form of food grains. The farmers were waived tax, means cancelled, if they faced loss in agriculture. In case of late payment of tax, land was not confiscated or seized. But during the British rule in India, they made few changes in the land revenue system. They measured land and the tax was fixed as per area of land. They started collecting tax in cash instead of food grains. If farmers failed to pay the tax on time, they used to confiscate the land. This system led to exploitation of farmers. Consequence of new land revenue system. There were many bad effects of the new revenue system. Farmers started selling their crops in whatever price they get, in need of cash to pay tax. The merchants and brokers were purchasing farm products in minimum price. Sometimes farmers have to mortgage their land, means girvi or gahan, or sell the farm in need of money to pay taxes. Therefore, the farmers were exploited by merchants, zamindars, government and the money lenders, means saukars. Commercialization of agriculture. Earlier, farmers cultivated food grains to fulfill their needs. But after the British government in India, Britishers started forcing farmers to grow cash crops like tea, tobacco means tambaku, indigo means neem, cotton, sugarcane, etc. because there were great demands for cash crops in European market and it was a profitable business. So instead of grains, Britishers gave more importance to cash crops. So this was known as the commercialization of agriculture. Famine. Famine means extremely scarcity of food due to drought. From 1860 to 1900, India faced great famine, but the Britishers did not take any efforts to improve the conditions of Indians. Even they did not make much provisions of water supply. Development in transport and communication system. Britishers developed facilities of transport in India for business purpose. In 1853, the railway ran between Mumbai and Thane. In same year, they started telegraph system. Even they started postal services. Due to this, all administration offices and military stations got connected to each other. Therefore, the trade was increased and administration was more convenient. These developments had long-term impact on Indian people, and there was an increasing sense of unity among them. Decline of traditional industries in India. British used to get the raw material in very cheap rate from India. They processed in England. The goods manufactured in England were machine made. Hence, there was more production in less cost. Above that, British imposed more export duty on goods which were exported from India to England and less import duty on goods imported from England to India. Hence, the British goods were cheap in Indian market. To compete with these cheap goods was very difficult to Indian artisans. It led to closing of Indian cottage industries and artisans lost their employment, means jobs. Development of new industries in India. Due to lack of capital and support of British, the Indian businessmen could not set up industries in large numbers, yet some of them started their new business. Kawasji Nanaboy Dawar started first textile mill in Mumbai in 1853. In 1855, jute mill was started in Rishra in Bengal. Tata Iron and Steel Company was started in 1907 in Jamshedpur by Jamshedji Tata. Even other industries like coal, sugar, cement, metals, chemicals also were started in this period. Social and cultural effects. In 19th century, lots of changes were happening in Western countries. Now the focus of thinking shifted to humanity, nationality, democracy and liberalism. These changes in European countries had great effects in India too. To carry out administration in India, British had to understand Indian society and their culture. Hence, they started studying history, literature, traditions, music, etc. of India. Sir William Jones was jurist. He established Asiatic Society of Bengal at Kolkata in 1784 to study Indian culture, tradition, history, etc. The German thinker Max Mueller was a devoted scholar of Indian history, languages and religion. Inspiring from these examples, newly educated Indians also had the feelings to study Indian religion, history, tradition, etc. Many social reformers were devoted to bring reforms in Indian society. Meanwhile, British introduced many laws for social reformation. In 1829, Lord William Bentinck introduced Sati Prohibition Act. Sati means the widow wife of the dead person had to burn alive herself in the chitta of her husband. and sacrifice her life. Even in that period, widows were not allowed to remarry. In 1856, Lord Dalhousie passed the Widow Remarriage Act. These acts were responsible for changes in Indian society. For ease of administration in India, British required English educated Indians. On recommendation of Lord Macaulay, English education was introduced in India in 1835. Through the English education, Indians had acquired knowledge of Western thoughts, science, technology, and modern reforms. In 1857, universities were established in Mumbai, Kolkata, and Madras. These newly Western educated Indian middle class lead the social reforms movement in India. Students, I have given 5 fill in the blanks. You have to find the answers and you have to write down in your notebook. Students, kindly note that for exam only objective types questions will be asked, like fill in the blanks, name the followings, answer in one word, match the followings, etc. So read the lessons thoroughly. This is for history subject only. Thank you, student. By this we have completed our third chapter.